Hello, SquirrelTribe 2.0. How is everybody doing? Happy hump day, my dudes. It is Wednesday. Doing things a little different. The floors are cold and I'm not wearing socks and I didn't want to stay in the kitchen, so instead we're sitting on the couch and you get to look at the pretty Christmas tree for a few minutes and it'll be fine. So this morning, let me explain to you what happened this morning with my kid. We get in the car to go to school. We're 10 minutes late leaving. All right. She woke up early, but then for some reason didn't get out of the house on time. So we're leaving 10 minutes late. We get in the car and we're in an apartment and our renewal is up, or we're supposed to renew the lease on the apartment probably in a couple months. And the kid, my daughter, she would like to not be in the apartment. She really wants like a house, right? So yesterday we're driving home, the man, myself, the kid, and the man says, "What is it that you want if we were to move? What are you looking for?" And she says, and she knows we're talking about this. I already told her we're going to have this conversation. She says, "I want a bigger bedroom. I want to be able to paint my walls. I want to be able to decorate, and I want to be able to make noise and not have to worry about pissing off people below me or upstairs. I'd like to have music and run around and things like that." To which my husband, her father, the man, says, "Well, then we could do a condo." And she says, "Well, I guess, but no, because I really want a trampoline." And he says, "Well, at no point did you mention a yard or trampoline when asked, like, what are you looking for?" So then there was a little pouting going on, right? So this morning we get in the car, the kid and I get in the car, and I don't have music turned on yet or anything, because I'm like, hey, let's talk about some things, because Dad sent me a couple different places in our area that we could look at to rent, because we're not going to go buy a house. It is not the market to buy a house right now. It is a renter's market. It looks like some of the things we saw on Zillow and Trulia, is that right? Yeah. The rental prices seem to be coming down. The housing prices, not so much, but even if they did, the interest rates are still flipping high, like 7.19 instead of 7.59. I'm trying to remember what the numbers were. I think 7.19% right now for a 30-year fixed mortgage, whatever. Plus you have to put down like an exorbitant amount of money to get a house, right? Plus nothing in the area we live in that's for sale is cheap. And if it is cheap, we don't want to live in that area. That's kind of the boat that we're in right now, right? So I tell her, I say, well, Dad sent me a couple houses, but he sent me a couple of condos. And there's this one that is so nice and whatever else. And she's like, well, fine. Just, you know what? Do whatever you want to do. If you and Dad want a condo, go get a condo. It's whatever. Just because I want a yard and a house doesn't matter. Just do what'll make you two happy. And my brain said, does she have PMS right now? Like, what is happening? Because I didn't do anything wrong to her, yet here comes the attitude. And then I remembered seeing this meme that says, as a daughter, I understand your anger. As a mother, I will never understand. And I thought about that. As a daughter, when I was younger, I would get mad at whatever. And my mom, of course, wouldn't understand. And now as a mother, I don't understand, but I was a daughter at one point, so I do understand. It's a really weird place to be in, right? So I tell her, I'm like, kid, that's not what I'm saying. It's like, but you have to remember, when you were asked what you want, you never once said a yard or a trampoline or any of that kind of stuff. And she's like, well, I've talked about it forever. I liked when we had the houses, and like before the apartment, we had a house, 6 acres. Before that, we had a much smaller house, whatever. But I was like, yeah, I remember. And you never went outside. I'm like, the second house we had, you ran around out back when we first got Max, the dog, the golden doodle, when we first got him. And then that was it. You didn't ever go out back again, like in the backyard or whatever. It's like, so I don't understand this desire for a yard when I don't think you're actually going to use it. And really what it stems from and what it comes down to is she had a sleepover months ago at a girl's house here who happened to have a yard and had a trampoline, and they did like a sleepover on the trampoline kind of thing. And she absolutely fell in love with it. And when she was little, she wanted a trampoline. My nephew had one. We'd go over to my brother and sister-in-law's house. She'd jump on the trampoline, be sad when we left because we didn't have one at home. But at every house we ever had, she never asked for a trampoline. So this morning I'm like, kid, I need it to make sense. Make it make sense. You say you don't want to be in the apartment because you can't be loud. You can't run around. There's not that much room for to have friends over or whatever else. I'm like, the apartment, you could paint your room. You could decorate your room. We just have to fix it before we move back out, right? And she's like, it's not the same. I don't want to do that. And I was like, all right, cool. Still thinking maybe it's PMS. I'm trying to calculate what day of the week it is, month it is, whatever. But I'm never going to be like, are you PMSing? Because I don't want her to think that that's the response that she will always get when she has a mood that's not a happy one. But I feel like we've all been trained, women and men have been trained, that if you're female, whatever, whether it's daughter, sister, mother, friend, auntie, whatever, has an attitude, for some reason, the first thing we think of is, oh, is it that time of month? And it's because you see it in TVs and movies and it gets stuck in your brain that way. But this morning I was literally like, is this PMS? Because I didn't understand where it was coming from. And then I'm like, well, no, she's 14 and it's just hormones and whatever else. So I'm talking to her and I'm like, okay, you know what? Fine. Let's just not do this. Because I turned to her because she was being kind of bratty. And I was like, are you just going to be bratty for no reason? Like, I was just trying to have a conversation. And she said, and I was like, oh, we're just going to not use words and just what? Okay, so then we're not going to talk for the rest of this car ride because I'm not going to say something that's going to put you in a really crappy mood before school, and I'm not going to let you put me in a really crappy mood for the whole day, because all I'm going to do is sit here and think about how you're in a crappy mood and I'm in a crappy mood and we should never leave each other in a crappy mood, whatever else. So I turn on music. I turned that thing up, like cranked it. So no words needed to be spoken. But it wasn't what we normally listen to on the way to school in the morning. It's just whatever happened to be on Sirius XM, right? So then we get into the school line and my brain was like, be a better parent, be a better mom, be a better woman, be a better friend, be a better whatever. So I put it on Bluetooth and I put it on one of her absolute favorite songs. Okay. At which point we're sitting there side by side, but I'm not looking at her. I'm like, I'm not going to make it weird. I'm not going to look at her or whatever. And so I put it on her favorite song and I went back to like paying attention to the drop off line. Right. And I didn't say anything to her. And when it got time for her to get out of the car, she got out of the car, and normally she leaves the front door open while she gets her stuff out of the back. Then she comes up to the front door. It's the I love you, have a good day, whatever, shuts the door, leaves. Today, she got out of the passenger seat, shut the door, went to get her stuff out the back. And I said, I love you. She said, love you, and shut the door. Okay. Now my kid, who has a cell phone on her, and although the school says no, whatever else, and I tell her, keep it on you, because if there is a situation, you need to be able to get to me, right? The second I'm out of that parking lot, I get a text from her that says, I'm sorry for being rude. It wasn't you. I was having a fight with a friend and I took it out on you, and I'm sorry. I love you. And I reply back, I love you too. Have a good day. She replied back, you too. Because she knows, and I know, that leaving each other in a not happy state of mind is not something we ever want to do, because you never know what could happen during the day. Something might happen to me and she never sees me again. And I would hate for the last thing for her and I to be negativity or anything like that. Same thing, never go to bed mad, none of those kind of things. So she sent that to me, and it made me feel really good that although she was having issues and did sort of take it out on me, I didn't help the situation with how I reacted and responded and asking her if she's going to be a brat. I shouldn't have used that word, but sometimes as a parent, you get aggravated with your teenage daughter. Like, it is what it is. I am not the only parent out there who has felt that way, right? But I didn't call her one. I said, are you going to be one? Didn't say you're being a brat. Those are two totally different things. I don't ever want to put it on her that that's what she is. I ask sometimes, are you going to be, and then, give her the frame of mind where she can say yes or no, to let her know that she has a decision right now to change the way she's thinking, acting, whatever else, or to have the conversation with me a little differently so that we can work out whatever's going on. We are very open with each other. The man and I were talking about it yesterday. We dropped her off at school, and then he and I went and got breakfast. I told you about it yesterday. And I told him, I said, you know what's great? We are raising a really good kid. I said, technically, she's a sometimes batshit crazy 14-year-old, because she's a 14-year-old girl and hormones are just all over the place. I was one. I understand how it is. Sometimes I forget, though. Sometimes the mom in me forgets about the kid in me. You know what I mean? But I told him yesterday, I'm like, we're raising a really good kid. She doesn't do anything bad. She doesn't talk back in a way that should have her swallowing teeth. You know what I mean? And she's not a bad kid. Yes, she forgets to clean her room and I have to hound her ass about it. Like, clean your room, clean your room. Why haven't you cleaned your room? Clean your room. Her grades are good. She's doing her best. She's nice to her friends. She's good. She's shy. So she's not going to just randomly talk to people, and that's fine. I don't want her to think she has to always be like the light of everything, just whatever. And I'm like, but she's a really good kid. And he goes, give it time. I think all kids at some point do something really stupid. And I was like, yeah, that's probably true. But I also feel like she's going to tell me, because she talks to me about everything. She's in 8th grade and she'll remind me all the time. She's like, even if I don't know it or you haven't told me about it, the kids in school talk about everything, but she comes to me with everything. If she hears something that is real grown and real adult and she's curious, she'll ask me. We had a conversation about pineapple. Ladies, gentlemen, if you know what I'm saying, then you know what I'm saying. We had a conversation about pineapple and how it affects women and men and things and the way they taste. Okay. Just putting it out there like that. So we had that conversation because somebody at school mentioned it. And so instead of her asking other kids who don't know what the hell they're talking about, although that one kid did, and I'm kind of curious how very open his parents are, she comes to me and talks to me about these things. If she likes a boy, she tells me about the boy. She gives me her phone and lets me read the conversation between her and the boy. She tells me about stuff with her friends. Now, if her friends have confided something in her that's not severe, it's not like a harmful whatever, she's not going to tell me. She knows to keep secrets with her friends. Her friends need to be able to trust her and things like that. She also knows that if there's something she wants to talk about and she's not comfortable for whatever reason coming to me or her dad, she's got her Gigi, which she can go talk to, but more than likely she's going to go talk to my sister-in-law, her Titi. She's Dominican and Colombian, so she's Titi. She's going to go talk to her, which is good. I want her to know she has somebody she can always go talk to. And my sister-in-law also knows that unless it is something that is severe and I need to be aware of, keep your conversations between you two. Let her have that safe person to talk to about whatever. She needs to talk about me sometimes, just like sometimes I need to talk about the man, and I'm sure the man needs to talk about me. You need to have somebody outside of your close-knit, tight, whatever, to have conversations with sometimes. And I don't mean close-knit, tight, whatever. I mean, somebody you trust that's not your mom or your dad or your spouse or your brother or your sister. I feel like everybody needs to have that other person they trust, as long as it's not like outside of your marriage, you know what I'm saying? You need to have that person that you trust. And for her to have her aunt, her TT that she can go talk to, I absolutely love. But we were talking about this morning, the man and I, when I got back, and I said, because I walked in and he was like, what's up? And so I explained to him kind of what happened because he knows my moods as well. So I explained to him what happened. He was like, okay, that's cool. And then we were randomly talking about something and he mentioned catfishing. He said something about catfishing a couple days ago. So here's the thing. There's this show on like MTV. I think it's on MTV. It's called Catfish. Literally, that's the name of it. And I used to watch it all the time. And it's about men and women who were catfished online. Like they thought they were talking to this person. It turns out this person was lying and telling them all these things just to get them interested or whatever. That's basically catfishing. He looked up the definition, and you know what? I do have my computer here. I'm gonna look up the definition of catfishing for those of you who may not know. That way the rest of this conversation makes sense. Catfishing definition. So the definition of catfishing. The process of luring someone into a relationship by means of a fictional online persona. Okay. It says online persona, but it also says when a person takes information and images, typically from other people, and uses them to create a new identity for themselves. In some cases, a catfisher steals another individual's complete identity, including their image, date of birth, geographical location, and pretends that it is their own. Well, most of the time that word is used for online stuff, but I feel like you can be catfished in person. So my daughter, the kid, the reason she was upset, she was having this issue with one of her friends, and she told me who the friend was. And I explained to her, she's talked about this friend a couple different times, not talked about them, but said, you know, they're making me feel this kind of way. They're acting like this, whatever. And I reminded her that a friend that makes you upset more than they make you happy isn't a friend worth having. And this is something she needs to learn, that certain friends are not real friends. And I told her, I was like, you know, people can catfish you in person. You can have somebody who pretends to be somebody they aren't or something they're not in order to get you to like them. And then sometimes that facade, that fakeness, that catfishness accidentally falls away, or like the mask falls off. You know what I'm saying? And the person that got you there pretending to be what they were is no longer that person, and it's no longer a friendship or whatever with having. And I said, this person that you're friends with feels like from the beginning catfished you into thinking they were this type of person, and here you are repeatedly seeing that they're 180 degree different from that. And she's 14, and I want her to make her own decisions on her friends. Obviously, there are certain ones that I don't like as much, and it's not because they're bad kids. I just some of them are too loud. Some of them I don't. Y'all know, if you're parents, you know, so you can't always explain why you're not a huge fan of this one, but you like this one a little bit more. My kid has friends like that. There's ones where I'm like, I mean, if I have to give her a ride home or she has to go to the movies with you, fine. And then other ones, I'm like, yeah, they can stay the whole week if they want. I don't care, right? There's always going to be those kind of friends, but I'm not ever going to say, don't be friends with that person unless, of course, obviously, as a parent, there's a legitimate reason that person is not good. Then we will have that conversation and I will put the foot down, right? But generally speaking, I'm like, no. And so the man and I were actually talking about it earlier. I was like, well, you know, he said it, not me. He goes, I feel like we got catfished before with friends. And I'm like, I can see that. We've had friends in our relationship that you meet them and it's portrayed as one thing and everything is great. Everything is perfect. And then you realize that they are living just a life that isn't real. And they are putting on this front to make you believe they are somebody that they aren't. And when you find out little things that start to chip away at that, they just kind of stop even trying to catfish anymore and they just fall away and ghost you. And it's really, really weird when you can step back and look at all the things that you can see were wrong when you didn't really see it at the time. And it's the weirdest situation. And I'm open with the kid about everything, our friends and everything else, because I want her, again, to understand all different aspects of relationships and to know what to look for in people and stuff like that. So she's known some of the people that we have realized were kind of catfishing the friendship. And even she would say, yeah, it's so weird because it didn't feel right. Like the person, it seemed like they were kind of fake, or they didn't really like seem like they paid attention or whatever else. And it's just a weird conversation to have in general when you're talking about in-person catfishing with like friends that, are they friends or are they not friends? So I know this is like the weirdest video ever, 2.0, but I love y'all. Thanks for letting me just kind of blah, blah, right? But it's weird because at 14 for her, this one kid who I consider to be a catfisher, I asked her, I said, so what are you going to do? And she said, honestly, I'm probably just going to like step back and not talk to that person. Like I'll say hi and stuff, but I'm not going to like have conversations, and I'm definitely not going to tell them secrets or tell them anything like that. And she's like, and just kind of see what happens. But she said that over time, she's realized that that person's not really a friend. And I was like, I would rather you learn that than not, and it go really, really bad for you friendship wise with that person. Cause you know, there's some friends out there who will willingly like stab you in the back and stuff like that. That's not what this kid is, but she's learning that not everybody is who they say they are, and that it is okay to have boundaries, put up new boundaries if necessary, or to change your mind about people. You can change your mind about people all day long. Hell, there's probably people here, maybe not anymore. That's what I'm saying, that there's probably people here who in the beginning liked me and then I said or did something like, ew, and then they left. That's okay. You're more than welcome to change your mind about me, about absolutely anybody. And I want her to know that. I don't ever want her to feel like just because you started out as friends means you have to be friends your entire life. Some people are, what is that? Oh, what's that phrase? Some people are there for a moment. Some people are there for a minute, a moment, a lesson, something like that. I don't remember how it goes. If y'all know, put it in the comments because I can't think of it right now. Squirrel brain. But some people are there to teach you what friendship shouldn't be about. So she's learning, unfortunately, the hard way, or maybe the easy way, because she does have me to talk to and her other friends to talk to. But she's learning that not everybody is worth your time and your effort. The man and I are learning the same thing with some friends, that not everybody is worth your time and effort, especially if it's not reciprocated, and it's not reciprocated honestly. So there's that. So random, fully aware, so random. But I love you guys. Thank you for letting me have these so random conversations. I appreciate you immensely for it. Like, we're friends over here. That's how I see you guys, is my, unfortunately, online friends. Like, we're not all here in like one, you know, face-to-face kind of situation, but I still consider you friends. And whether you're online, long distance, whatever else or not, it still counts in my opinion. So that's that. Yeah, that's it. I hope you guys have a happy rest of your hump day, my dudes and dudettes, because I know some of you don't like being called dudes. I hope you have a happy rest of your hump day, and I will see you again hopefully tomorrow. If not, then definitely Friday, but hopefully tomorrow too. I'm going to try to be here daily because there's a lot of stuff I want to talk to you guys about. But that's it for today. I love y'all. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.